image that you
Tell me.
just give me one minute. Yeah. So I understood how the file validation happened. I just wanted to understand, like, how do I remember, like, what exactly is getting validated in all this hierarchical validation? And is it sequential, like file header, batch header, entry detail, addenda, batch control, and file control? Does the validation happen sequentially?
This is a sequential process. The first one about the file receipts and basic check. This is the first step.
Right,
Second, we need to validate the structural hierarchy, because structural
right,
hierarchy, majorly what are the file headers we have. First, we will be taking that into account. After that, what are the batch files we have? That is comes under the batch headers. After that, whatever the payment related entry details, everything will come into picture. So this is a hierarchical process. So once the structural hierarchy validation is done, the next is data integrating, because we are integrating the data, right, from one system to
mm,
another system. The data we have to be integrated. So we need to calculate what are the fields we have, right? So how many debits were happened on the particular day, right? So how many credits of the payments were done, etc. Everything has to be updated under the logical validation. After that, regulatory compliances, because regulatory compliances based on the company to company, whatever the company that we are working on, the regulatory compliances and all everything will be valid. So these are the four basic steps that we need to know when it comes to the NACHA file validation process is concerned. So whatever the steps and procedures that I have mentioned over here, this is the file hierarchy. Step one, we need to record the length of the checks. Second, structural hierarchy validations. Third, data integration and logical validation. Fourth point, regulatory compliance validation. So these are the steps. These are the major ones. Okay.
okay.
Now,
And
tell me.
yeah,
Tell me, you carry.
what is yeah this like exactly 94 characters in the step one, like record length check?
94 means normally when there is any NACHA file, usually that character length is about 94 characters
Okay.
maximum, right? Success line. That
Mhm.
is called 94 characters length. Okay. If it is
Yeah.
if it is not 94 characters, automatically system will get rejected. Okay. You will get a
Okay.
error message on the system like formatting error okay. Right. That's how generally we get it. That is the first one. Second,
Okay.
about file headers. Normally, people can ask you question relating to what is file header, okay, what is batch headers, etc.
Yeah.
So any idea on that file headers?
Yeah. File header basically gives the information about who is the sending bank and who is the receiver bank and date and time the file was created.
Okay, batch headers.
Batch header is about what kind of payment is being done. Is it a web payment or is it a like it has the SEC code that is basically
It's not
if it is
what type
a
of
web.
payment. It majorly validates the service class codes. That is it.
Okay.
Batch files, batch headers are. Next, entry
So
details.
yeah. So what exactly service class code?
Sorry.
So like
Which
in batch
service
header.
which service is this? Because are you sending the money or you receiving the money? Depends
Okay.
on the payment service. Service
Okay.
means someone is sending money, someone is receiving, right?
Right.
That is called service class codes. Followed by this
Okay.
company ID. Company ID means who is going to send over that. That is
Okay.
all part of company ID, which will be referred here.
Okay.
Next, about entry details.
Yeah.
Okay, entry
So
details means
yeah.
what are the routing numbers we have. At the same time, account number that we are sending money. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, for the transaction, whatever the transaction codes we are using, everything will be part of entry details.
Okay.
Okay, entry of the data. Entry of the data means payment related, transaction codes, account
Got it.
numbers, validating routing numbers, account numbers, transaction codes, all
Yeah.
these things part of entry detail records. Next is about addenda records. Normally, this is optional, not required, because addenda reports majorly any optionally payment related information. Just leave it. Next is about batch controls. You know batch controls, right?
Yeah, it basically summarizes the entire batch of payments,
Batch
like
of
how
debits means
many.
both the ones, debits and as well as credits, both.
Okay.
Those are all we call it as batch controls. Means you are sending
Right.
money, right? So you are sending from one account to another account. Uh, because we have to update what is the total debits, what are the total credits we have. Okay, because
Mhm.
normally when normally using NACHA, usually high volume payments then we are sending. Okay, or else for example, um, whatever the EMIs yesterday I also told you, right? So when we discussed, I told you, right? For
Yeah.
example, any EMI payment we are making, okay, for any
Mhm.
loan or something. So we submit a NACHA file to the bank. So on a particular date and time, automatically EMI will come and EMI will be deducted from the person whoever is given the NACHA application. So that is called
Right.
NACHA files are all about. So whatever the money, if there is any debits or the debit fields, debited is from the person who has taken the loan, credited to the bank's account. That is all will be called as batch files. Batch files or batch control files, everything will be comes under that. File control files means what are the files that we are updating, okay, payment files, etc. Everything will be part of it. That is the structural hierarchy validation.
Okay.
Got it? Right.
Yeah.
But you must be knowing about the rules also. Write down the rules also because they may ask you about the rules. Please make
Okay.
it rules,
Yeah.
uh, validation rules, because they may ask you, because you are a BA, they may ask you
Mhm.
about validation rules. Okay, so what are the different validation rules you have? So write down
Yeah.
validation rules. Validation rules are as follows.
Yeah.
First was about record length. Just now I have told you. Okay,
Yeah.
must be every record must be 94
Yeah.
characters of length. Just now I have told you. Have asked me that, right?
Yeah. 94
Every record
characters.
must be 94 characters of length. It should be exact 94. Okay, if it is not
Okay.
94, automatically, because we are giving a rule like this. If the record
Yeah.
file is not 94 character, automatically system will reject and it will show as a formatting error. Okay.
Okay.
So record length is one rule. Second rule, blocking. Blocking. Files must
Block. Yeah. File must be.
blocked. Files must be blocked at 10 lines. If these kind of files were identified, automatically files must be blocked. That is the second rule.
What does that mean?
For example, if it is not 94 characters, what will happen? Automatically that
Oh.
file will be blocked, right?
Okay.
That is the second rule.
Okay.
Third rule, file naming. File name. Make sure, make sure file creation, make sure file creation, date and
Mhm.
time must be accurate. Means which format is this? MMDDYY or DDMMYY or YYDDMM, something like that. Okay, which must be accurate. This is one more rule. Next is hash totals.
Hash totals.
Hmm. Entry of
Yeah.
entry of hash types.
Right.
Uh, Usually these hash types will be 8 and 9. Okay, in brackets right down 8 and 9 types. Hash types. Records must match. Records must match the
Mhm.
sum of
Um,
the sum of routing numbers, routing numbers in detail records. In detail records. This is one more. Next, character sets. Only specific. Only specific.
Only specific.
Alphanumeric characters. Only specific. Alphanumeric characters.
Mm-hmm.
Must be allowed.
Must be allowed.
Must be allowed. Otherwise, right. Must be allowed. These are the different rules, validation rules from a business analyst perspective that we must be knowing. Understood? So,
Okay.
you clear?
Yeah. What is the structural hierarchy validation like one, five,
Write
six,
down,
seven,
write down,
nine?
write down. Now,
Okay.
next, this is the had validation rules you have told you. Okay, this is all the
Okay.
validation rules. Now, how this can be validated? That is what you are asking. Okay, how
Okay.
to validate that? Step one:
Yeah.
use validators
Use validators.
to parse the file. To parse the file.
Yeah.
These are the steps. Whatever mentioning, these are the steps. Okay, how are we validating?
Okay.
Use the validators to parse the file
Mm-hmm.
and check the structural errors. And check the structural errors. Structural errors.
Okay.
Second, banks or financial
Mm-hmm.
institutions. Banks or financial institutions
Yeah.
having
Having
sandbox
sandbox
or testing environment
for testing environment.
to upload files
Yeah.
and check for
Yeah.
bank specific errors before processing. Okay, this testing environment combination of both hardware and software means manual testing automation. Manual, you
Okay.
can say like a Jeffer scale, etc. We have used to write manual test cases. Where in automation testing, you tell if there is integration, we are using Postman API.
Okay.
If you are code testing and all, we have used Selenium, XYZ, XYZ. Okay, that we can do.
Okay.
Because validation is something part of testing. Okay, validation. So banks will have their own testing environment by both combining hardware and software testing environment. They will be having. So with that environment, that has to be tested. Which tools you have used? Just now I have told. Tell them. Postman API for API. UI testing we have used.
Brilliant.
Performance testing we have used JUnit.
Okay.
UI testing and all Cucumber etc. It can be. Next, code testing we have used Selenium.
Yeah.
Right. So these are all testing environments we have used. You can tell them. Okay. So this is the second step because whoever is doing the validation means banks and financial institutions. They have the testing environment, or they have a sandbox or any testing environment we have. So that in the testing environment, usually they upload all the files so that they wants to check the bank specific errors, etc. Everything they want to check. Next, the third one, Review headers. Third step. How are we validating? Third step, review headers.
Yeah.
These manually check. These manually check
Yeah.
uh, all the type of records. All the type of records which must be which must be
Yeah.
matched to the
Yeah.
expected totals and identifiers. Expected totals and identifiers. Done writing clear?
Mm-hmm.
This is how generally NACHA file validation will be will happen. Okay, including validation rules on that. Understood now? Clear, Sweta?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Uh, Account validation. What is the pre-note and micro deposit
Sorry,
validation that happens? Account validation record 6. What are these types? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I read that these are the types. Verify proper record sequence.
these
How is
one,
it?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the file types. File 1,
Okay.
okay, file type 5, right? So entry level 6. Addenda
Okay.
optional, that is remove not ignorable 7. Batch controls are 8 files. 9 control are 5 files. These are the file names. Type 5, type 1, type 2, 3, type 3 files are there. That is used here. Type files we can use.
Okay.
Next.
Yeah. The pre-note and micro deposit account pre-validation.
Sorry.
What is account pre-validation? What is that?
Account validations you're asking for.
Yeah.
This one. 1 minute, let me mark it. Is that you're asking this?
Yes.
Account validation means which account, from which account we are sending. Okay, that account has
Okay.
to be validated, right?
Okay.
Because we are creating a NACHA form where automatically the money will be deducted on the particular day and time. So must verify the account. Account has validation has to be happen first. Then only we can do that. So account validation is relating to that. We have to do the account
Okay.
validation here. Without validation, account validation, we can't perform further. We can't go further. So account
And
validation is
yeah.
important.
And what happens if suppose one of the validation fails?
Fails, you go reject file. That is the case. The account file validation, automatically file will be rejected. If account is
And who?
valid, automatically file will be validated and it will be generated. File will be generated.
Okay. And who would be correcting it? It would be the originator or it would be the bank, the ODFI.
Banks will do it.
Okay.
Banks has to, because through bank only we are sending, right? Banks and financial institutions has to do that.
And this file, Raj, who shares it? Like, is it someone like the corporate or company sends it to the bank, or is it the bank that generates this file based on the
Yeah, banks will
MT-MX
generate
message?
these files based on the NACHA form they have received from the customer.
Okay.
Based on the NACHA form, whatever is received by the customer, generally banks has to uh, detail the this thing and all, right? So they have to detail all that.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Generally, these are numbers, whatever 1, 5, 6 and all everything were comes under the lines. Okay, because first character of the line, right? Like that. Those are all. File headers are one. These are not changeable. These are standard. Batch
Got
headers
it.
are comes under fifth line. Means in which line this should come. File header should come in the first line. Batch header will come in the fifth line. Entry details will come in the sixth line. Batch controls will be comes under the eighth line. File controllers will come in the ninth line. In that line only this file has to come. NACHA file generation.
Got it.
Next question.
Yeah, that was it for the NACHA file.
So this is the NACHA file validation this thing. And I think these I have already forwarded before also to you, I believe.
Yeah.
Fed ACH payment. Now you this Fedwire transfers. Have you studied or do you want me to explain?
Yeah, if you could explain, Raj, I mostly focused on like NACHA and Fed ACH
Hmm.
and not on Fedwire for now. Like that's
Hmm.
pending to
Right.
study.
Fedwire, you can write down the
Yeah,
intro first. That's better.
sure. Just,
Intro first.
yeah, Fedwire.
Writing? Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. First of all, you write down what is Fedwire stands. Fedwire is
yeah,
Fedwire is a
yeah.
RTGS system. RTGS means you know already, right? Real
Yeah,
time
real
processing.
time gross settle. Yeah,
RTGS system which will be
yeah.
operated by the federal banks to provide immediate settlements, immediate or final settlements for high value payments. Last time I told you about this. For high value payments on the same day, on the same day.
Same days.
Okay. Comma continuation. This flow majorly involves debiting the debiting the sending bank's reserve account, sending bank's reserve account,
Everything
crediting
senders.
reserve account, and crediting
Yeah, reserve account and
receiving
crediting.
bank's account simultaneously should be completed
Should be completed.
within less time. Within less time. Within less time. Flow as follows. Write down the flow. I'll tell you. Okay, the flow. How the flow works. Okay, first step. Step one.
Yeah,
Write down in stepwise. Okay, I'll tell you. Step one. Bank initiates. Bank initiates transfer request.
bank request.
Initiates. Bank initiates
Initiates.
transfer request
Okay.
through Fedwire Fund service. Through Fedwire Funds service with necessary beneficiary details. Beneficiary means who is going to receive it, right? Necessary
Yeah.
beneficiary details. Second, step 2. Step 1 is completed. Step 2, Federal Reserve. Step 2, Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Check the messages. Check the messages
Yeah.
for authenticity. For authenticity,
Mhm.
including syntaxes
Syntaxes.
and fund availability. And fund availability in the
Yeah.
sender's reserve account. In the sender's reserve account.
Okay.
Step 3. Step 3. Uh,
Yeah.
Step 3. Federal Reserves. Federal
Yeah.
Reserves directly debit from the sender's account and credit to the receiver account instantly. Otherwise, right now, instantly. Instantly.
Instantly.
Step 4. Once settlement is completed
It's
and transfer
completed.
is completed, once settlement is completed, and transfer, once settlement and transfer is completed,
Yeah.
finally, finally, which cannot be reversed. You cannot reverse it. Okay. Once the final settlement or transfer is completed, you cannot reverse the payment. Okay, that is important. Which cannot be
Yeah.
reversed. Next point.
Mhm.
Next, Fed sends acknowledgement to the sender. Fed sends acknowledgement to the sender. Also, an advice to the receiver. An advice to the receiver by confirming the transfer. By confirming the transfer. Okay. So these are the steps. Again, I'm repeating. The first was is an initiation, where bank will
Mhm.
initiate all the transfer request and all through Fedwire, because Fedwire is a third party kind of, right? So
Okay.
third party RTGS platform. Through that, it will send, and where they will update all the necessary beneficiary details about. Now, Federal Reserve will check all the messages, whatever whether the message structure or syntaxes are proper, and whoever is sending money, do they have sufficient fund in his account or not? Everything they will see. Once it is there, automatically they will debit from the sender account and uh, credit to the receiver's account generally. Okay, which
Okay.
normally happens with immediate effect. So once the settlement or payment is done, that cannot be recoverable. Means reversible. Means you cannot reverse the payment because it is considered as done. Okay. After that,
Yeah.
Fed will send a notification, uh, acknowledgement to the sender, right? At the same time, advices to the receiver and all that. This is all about the notification part. So this is what will happen. Okay. Now keep a note. Normally
Yeah.
systems operate
Yeah.
system system operates majorly
System operates majorly.
uh, majorly on the business days.
On business days.
Hmm. Uh, from time to time, 10 to 9 or something, okay, like that. Okay.
Okay.
And also system should have the capacity to serve 5,000 participants, 5,000 participants, 5,000 participants
Yeah.
for high value or time critical payments. For high value or typical payments.
Okay.
Understood now? Got it? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what the Fedwire is. Fedwire transfer is done. Fed ACH payment flow, I think you have done some research on it, right? You have done it.
Yeah.
So I will explain this tomorrow. Tomorrow you come. Tomorrow I'll be free, no problem. Tomorrow, sometime by 6:30 in the morning I'll be available. Okay.
Okay.
You please come online. So tomorrow I will cover the remaining Fed ACH payment flows. All this part will be discussed tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, Raj.
Right. Right, Shweta.
Yeah, Raj. And just wanted to get like understanding of